this show going. The next guy helps run this place, so let's give him a big welcome. Please help me welcome Bear Love, everyone. Come on.
Hello, Golden. I got to get this out of the way. Hippies are not that coordinated. So, see, and then I stumble over here. How you doing? My name is Bear Love. I've always been called Bear. My dad loves to remind me I named you that, not the hippies. And you guys think it's easy being a hippie because I got no job. But how many times have you used your job to get out of doing things you didn't want to do? These people know I don't have to work in the morning. I had to move a fish tank on Tuesday. Yeah, on Thursday I have to drive out to Limon and pick up a pit bull for my friend. I thought that he would get over his breakup by getting off of my couch, but instead we're getting a dog next week. Sometimes it would be easier just to go to work. So, hippies, that means I'm scared of the government, but you guys legalize pot. Kind of put me out of a job. Nobody tells you what happened to the weed man, the one that made it out. He delivers pizza now. DoorDash. And Valentine's is fine, but Halloween, all the kids dressed up as cops. I'm slowing down twice, and they're not even real police. It's making your food cold. So, how many of you guys have ever? I'm glad you guys legalized pot. I used to actually grow it here in Colorado, and I was up in the Colorado Rockies, high in the mountain Rockies, growing pot, double meaning. And have you guys ever been so stoned you guys thought you invented something that you did not? Yeah. So we were out of Kool-Aid. We had a bunch of sugar. We had a bunch of water. You know how hippies love Kool-Aid. They have it on tap at Chiba Hut for us. I love that. And so we were out of Kool-Aid, and we had all this sugar. And it was a weed grow, so I had a lot of hippies coming through. And they left all these tea packets up there. Now, I'm Scottish descent, and so we were part of the Revolutionary War. We don't drink English tea. So, but I had all this tea sitting up there, and I had sugar and water. So I made sugar water tea. And it was good. I had sleepy time tea, and we were drinking these different flavorings. And I thought it was a genius idea. And for 3 days, none of my friends called me out. They were coming over. Do you want another batch of sugar water tea? I'm having it to my friends. They probably thought there was weed in it, knowing me. Something. So they're like, yeah, I'll have some of that. I'm a little parched. And then they say, my girlfriend, for 3 days, she didn't call me out. You want another batch of sugar water tea, honey? Sure, but your family will always keep you in check. I have family from Texas. My cousin came up, and I said, yeah, isn't it good? I said, I'm thinking about opening up a stand at Red Rocks and selling it, different flavors. And he goes, this is good, Bear, but you did not invent sweet tea. Yeah, I thought I did. But you don't become a hippie overnight. I used to have a real job. I used to know what day of the week it was. I lived in San Diego, and I actually did mortgage for a few years. And there was a thing called Coachella that happens in the desert outside of San Diego. And that was the beginning of the end of my mortgage days. I went to Coachella. I'm running around, jumping on trampolines and all that. And when I came back to my mortgage company, I was like a kite, and there was a very small string connecting me to that job. And I'm just hovering around. My employees knew it was coming because I got rid of the dress code. I had a suit broker, and now all of a sudden it's okay to wear flip-flops to work. They knew it was the beginning of the end for me. But I thought it was like the billionaire mentality. I met some richer guys than me, and they were all wearing Hawaiian shirts and flip-flops. And so I was like, this mentality will get us there. It did not get me to be a billionaire. Maybe you want to dress up at your job. I don't know. But the hippies knew that it was coming, but I didn't know it was coming. But after Coachella, there's a thing called Burning Man. And so that was what clipped that kite string. And I found out also that San Diego had politicians stealing rivers from other towns close by. And so I had a hippie reason to not go back to that mortgage job. They're having water wars. They live in the desert. It was very tough. It's still unsustainable to have that many people there. So I'm out of there. I go to Burning Man, and I meet Super Hippie. He knows about the river problems. He knows everything, and he's my guru, you know. Luke Skywalker had Yoda. I had Super Hippie. And Super Hippie was nuts because he was like, we're going to backpack all the way to Oregon, and I'm going to teach you permaculture, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, all right, bro, I don't want to go to my job on Monday. Just keep talking. And ends up where we end up hitchhiking all the way to Oregon, and we're on the Lost Coast in Northern California. We're all over. And this guy's so intense at hiking that he's doing pull-ups on the light post while we're walking into town and doing parkour. This dude thinks he's like half UFC, half priest. So I'm traveling with him, and he's a French-trained chef. And he knows all these people up the coast that we can stay at their house. And, you know, the hippie rule, ass, cash, or grass, nobody rides for free. He was cooking, so I had to do all the cleaning. So I got my ass in the kitchen and clean for this guy. And I guess to make French bread, you have to dirty every dish in the house. Gosh, I was actually happy to get off that weed grow in Northern California. And we ended up getting down to the beach. And we end up hiking down to the beach, Moonstone Beach. Now, this is the hippie dream I was promised. You know, we're down on the beach, running around. And it's just a free camp spot. Nobody could see us for miles. And all of a sudden, 3 men walk out of the woods. There's no house back there. There's no road. There's no trail. Just men from woods. One of them looks like Gandalf and his 2 hobbits, I swear. And he has a fern in one hand. And he said, this makes a good tea. I'm not a big tea guy, you know that. But he says, this fern, and he has another brown bag of mushrooms. And he says, and these only grow on the west side of this fern. And he was sure that these magic mushrooms were going to give us a party that night. But Super Hippie was super smart. He said, I'm tired from hiking and pulling up on the light post. He goes, well, you guys do them, and I'll see if you guys don't die. So me and Adrian have nothing to lose. We've picked up another guy. He was also from San Diego, depressed construction worker who was like, I'm going north. And so I related to that. I was kind of, in a state. The Afghanistan war had just started. There was things to be depressed about. And so I related to this kid. So we're out there eating handfuls of mushrooms from fucking Gandalf. These guys just disappeared back into the woods, too. We're like, should we eat their mushrooms? And we're like, he said it was on the west side of the fucking tree. Like, he knew what he was talking about. So we didn't have anything to lose, and we believed it. They looked all right. So we were eating handfuls of these mushrooms. And basically, Valentine's Day show. I didn't, you don't become a hippie overnight. Like, I didn't believe in chakras the first time my girlfriend was telling me about chakras and, energy healing until my girlfriend broke my heart. Then I started realizing that eating these mushrooms was opening my heart chakra. And so I'm telling Adrian, oh my gosh, your heart chakra, blah, 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 all this hippie voodoo stuff. And he's like, wow. He's sitting in his tent, and he goes, this is a real cool story, Bear. He says, but I have to pee. And he's got the nice, bivy sack, camping stuff that's light. He's got his down comforter or blanket, sleeping bag. And I thought he had seen Dumb and Dumber. I, just quoted the movie. Remember when he says, just let it go, man. And Jim Carrey pees on the moped. So I quote the movie, just let it go, man. And he pees himself right there in his tent. I didn't think and it's looking me in the eyes, just peeing like a kid, like a toddler. And he goes, I'll never forget what he said. He goes, what are these feelings I'm feeling? Shame, guilt, dishonor. And then my mushrooms start hitting me. And I'm like, I think that, because I've, just left this job. I'm just, the country's in a weird state. I was like, do I feel shame, guilt, dishonor? I thought he was reading my inner thoughts. So now I'm like, holy shit. Did my parents not tell me I make up these imaginary friends? He's one with me. And he's now the dude who's listening to me talk about chakras is talking about oneness. He's like, yeah, we're all one. He goes, the reason we're divided is so that we can love. And are you so egotistical you want to see yourself on TV? He goes, no, we're split up so that we can laugh and tell jokes and entertain each other. And I was like, okay, I'm skeptical. I'm like, I was like, if this is true, I said in my head, he's going to come and hug me. And he looked at me like a Joker's grin, and he runs at me, and he hugs me. I'm like, the dude can read my thoughts. And I'm like having this oneness moment with the whole universe, how we're all one and how we could create our thoughts if we just think good about ourselves. And then I remember that I'm hugging P-Man. And so I released P-Man, and he ran around on the beach thinking we were going to get abducted by aliens the rest of the night. And it was a good time, you know. So if you're in North Oregon and you think about quitting your good job, just maybe go on a weekend and have a good weekend, but do not follow Super Hippie. Have a good night, guys. I love you.
All right. How we doing? We still doing good? Yeah.